Hello, hello. Welcome to today's live English lesson here on the Speak English with Vanessa YouTube channel. I'm so glad that you're here to learn English with me, improve your skills, become more confident, and learn an exciting phrasal verb today. We're going to be talking about an important 3-word phrasal verb, hang on to. Today, hopefully you'll be able to use a lot of examples. If you're here live this morning, you can get some feedback from me. If you have questions about it, feel free to write a comment. And if there are other phrasal verbs or other expressions or other things that you want to see a live video, a live lesson about, let me know. What do you want future lessons to be about? These are flexible, they're live, so it's made for you, made to help you. If you would like to join me live but you don't know how, the best way is to come to my YouTube channel Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. EST. That's the New York time. 9 a.m. We just had a time change in the US, so I hope that it's not too confusing. It's always confusing, even here. But I hope that for you, you can join me live. And if you're here live right now, thanks so much. Caleb is here. Juma is here. Catalin, hello. Andre, good morning. Alan, Majid, glad you're here. Rahul from India, Suyoshi, good evening. I hope that for all of you, you're having a beautiful Thursday and ready to learn some English. So, I want to ask you a question before we get started today, because we're going to talk about hang on to. Hang on to. What is something, a physical item that you don't want to throw away? Something that's maybe it's important or maybe it's not so important that you don't want to throw away. I'll give you a quick example, and then from your answers, let's create a beautiful sentence using the phrasal verb hang on to. I have a visual aid today. So this thing is a cat toy, and usually this hangs on the door. But yesterday, I took it off the door and I put it on the ground. Within 10 minutes, my oldest cat, the one who's 16 years old, 16 and a half years old, he ripped the head off of it. And as you can see, he destroyed it. He loves eating and destroying stuffed animals. In the middle of the night, you can hear he loves it. And now it looks pretty gross. It's not so nice. And when you see this on my floor, if you were my guest, you might think, Vanessa, you need to clean your house. Why is there this disgusting ripped toy thing on your floor? But I don't want to throw it away yet. I don't want to throw it away yet because my cat loves it. He loves to bite this. I think maybe this side is too big. He decided he already beheaded it, so it's already dead, I guess, to him. But this, we can use this to talk about today's phrasal verb. I'm going to write a sentence about this toy, and I want to see if you can make a similar sentence about something that you don't want to throw away, something that's important to you, or maybe important to your cat. We could say, I'm hanging on to, I'll call this just a mouse. The mouse head. Wow, I never thought I'd write a sentence like this, hanging on to the mouse head. I'm hanging on to, that's our phrasal verb today. I'm hanging on to the mouse head. And this just means not throwing it away. I'm keeping it. I'm not throwing it away. This is not expensive. It's not $1 million. So I'm not keeping it because it's expensive and I'm worried about losing money. It has sentimental value to my cat. So I want to know for you, what is something that you are hanging on to? Something that you don't want to throw away. Maybe it's something expensive. You're hanging on to it. Or it's something that is like this, kind of silly, but your friends or your cats or your kids or you love it, so you don't want to throw it away. Julian says, I'm hanging onto the piano that I used to play when I was little. Beautiful. That is an excellent sentence with this. I'm hanging onto the piano. So this phrasal verb has a little nuance, a little implication, and it means that it's not so useful now. You don't use it every day. It's not something that is really gonna change your life. So we don't use this. Maybe if you play the piano every day and that piano is something that you use a lot, then probably we shouldn't use this verb. But if you don't really play the piano that much, but you're holding on to it, that's the exact same thing, holding on to it, hanging on to it, because it's something that has sentimental value. Perfect. That's a great way to use this. You're hanging on to it. Oh, we've got a great sentence. I'm hanging on to my old cell phone. I'm hanging on to my old cell phone. This is the perfect example of what I just said, that it's not so valuable. Maybe there are better things, but for you, you want to hang on to it because it's something that's comfortable to you. Mohammed says, I'm hanging on to my old laptop. I'm hanging on to old clothes. So maybe there's a shirt. My husband, Dan, is like this. When he wants to buy a new shirt, I usually say, take a look at the shirts that you already have so that you know what you want or maybe what you need to get so that you're not duplicating things. But when he looks in his closet, each shirt for him has a special memory. This is the shirt that I wore when I went here. This is the shirt that I wore when I went there. There's a sentimental value. So he is hanging on to his old clothes. He wears them occasionally, but he's hanging on to them for sentimental reasons. We have a great sentence here. Ang Pham says, I'm hanging on to my memories. And that is going to take us to the next step. Because so far, a lot of you have mentioned physical items, because that was my question. I'm hanging on to my old bike. I'm hanging on to my motorcycle. But we can use this for things that are not physical, memories, ideas. I'm hanging on to my past dreams. Beautiful sentence here. So we can hang on to a memory. This is going to be a little more complex to think about. So I want to write a sample sentence here. Let's think about something special. Maybe a vacation that you went on. Maybe a special time that you had dinner with your grandma and now your grandma lives far away, or maybe she passed away and you want to hang on to the memories of the time that you spent together. That's something that's really valuable to you. You don't want to throw it away. You don't want to get rid of it. So to talk about something that's not so physical, let's make a sentence. I'm hanging on to the memories of my trip to Italy, for example. So you are hanging on to the memories of my trip to Italy. I don't want to forget them. I'm not going to push them away. I'm hanging on to them. They are valuable. They're valuable. So this is a little different than the first one because the first one kind of means that you don't use that item a lot. It's just something that's sentimental, or maybe it's something useful, but you don't use it all the time. But for the second one, for memories, those are special memories, something precious. You never want to forget them. So for you, what is something that what is a memory that you want to hang on to? Oh, a lot of people said, I'm hanging on to memories of my youth. Beautiful sentence, Maxime. I'm hanging on to memories of my youth. I'm hanging on to my dreams. I'm hanging on to the memories of my childhood. Gabriella, great. You're not forgetting those. Those are special. They're close to your heart. Those are really important. Well, I'm going to make another line here. And let's take this to the next level. Let's take this phrasal verb and use it in the past, because sometimes we hang on to things or onto memories that can be kind of negative. So let's take an example. Let's take a simple example of these papers. I have another visual aid here. In this packet, I have some papers from the bank, and I found these in my desk over here. And when I was cleaning the desk, I realized these are not important. Why do I still have them? I should throw them away. They are not important. So I want to throw these away, and I want to use today's phrasal verb to explain this idea. So let's use it in the past. Does anyone know what is hang in the past? I'm hanging on to my memories. I'm hanging on to the mouse head. But what about in the past? Because this is right now. This is the present. How can we say this? I hung. Oh, wonderful. Eduardo, Youngs, you got it. Hung. I hung on to those papers for too long. They're not valuable. They're not sentimental. There's no reason to hold on to them. So let's use this in the past. And I want to see if you can make a sentence using hang on to in the past. So this is something that you threw away, you got rid of because it's not important to you anymore, or maybe it wasn't healthy for you to hang on to your relationship, so you needed to forget about it, leave it in the past. I hung on to those papers for too long. It wasn't important. I hung on to those papers. I hung. So this is something that's in the past and is not happening anymore. It means you don't have that item. It's gone. Or you don't have those memories. They're gone. Aha, we have some great sentences. Julian says, I hung on to those old shoes for too long. Maybe they fit perfectly. They were great for your feet. And in the end, they just started breaking, but you couldn't get rid of them. I hung on to them for too long. Eduardo says, I hung on to my first girlfriend. So in this sentence, I hung on to my first girlfriend, it could mean that you physically were holding her. But if you want to talk about her memory, that you broke up and you couldn't forget her, you had a difficult time moving on, we could say, I hung on to the memory of my first girlfriend, or I hung on to my relationship with my first girlfriend after we broke up. So if you want to talk about after you broke up, maybe we can add a few more details. That's a great thing that it's difficult to let go of and forget about. You want to hang on to those memories. Ewan says, I hung on to those bad ideas for a long time. I hung on to those bad ideas. So now it means that you're not holding on to them anymore. And I want to give, I'm not sure if orange is quite a different color here, but a couple times I have said, I'm holding on to. So today you get 2 phrasal verbs for the price of 1. It's all free, it's on YouTube. But I'm hanging on to and I'm holding on to is the same thing. These mean exactly the same thing. So in all of these sentences, we can use hold on to. We can use it for physical items. I'm holding on to this mouse head. I'm holding on to the memories of my trip. Both of these are great, but because in the comments of one of my videos, one of you asked, Vanessa, how can I use hang on to? So I wanted to focus on this one, but you can also use hold on to as well. Before we go, I want to give you a quick physical image because we didn't really talk about the literal meaning. Hold on to, hang on to. The word hang. What does this mean? What kind of image is in your mind when you think about hang? For me, I imagine a child who's on the playground and their hands are high above their head and they are swinging or hanging on a bar. They're hanging, they're holding really tight. They don't want to let go. That's the image that this phrasal verb is using. Hanging on, don't let go, you don't want to fall. It's this urgent feeling that I need to keep it, keep my memory, keep this object. I'm not gonna let it go. So I hope for you, you can use this phrasal verb in a lot of situations. We have beautiful sentences, hanging on, holding on to the past. Wonderful. I was holding on to the past for too long, but now I decided to move on and live in the present, in the future. So before we go, let's say a sentence all together. Let's use our speaking muscles. I want you to speak out loud with me. Use what we've learned today. Use hang on to, our lovely phrasal verb. And how about, what is a good sentence we can use with hang on to? Oh, I've got it. Let's make it negative because we haven't used any negative sentences yet. I'm not hanging on to old English methods. Maybe for you, you're learning on the internet now, you're here on YouTube. You're opening your mind to different ways to learn. Maybe you are talking with a speaking group in your city. Maybe you're talking out loud. You're using some kind of cards taped in your house. You're using different styles. So let's use this sentence. I'm not hanging on to old English methods. I'm letting in new methods. I'm not hanging on to, I need to write this down sometime so that I can remember it out loud for you. I'm not hanging on to old English methods. I'm not hanging on to old English methods. Are you saying this out loud with me? Let's say it all together. Let's say it no matter where you live. We've got people in all countries, Brazil, Vietnam, Morocco, Korea. Let's say it out loud all around the world and focus on a multitude of other ways to learn English. Are you ready? Let's say this sentence all together. Clearly, beautifully, we got this. I'm not hanging on to old English methods. 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 You're doing new things, such as joining me here on YouTube. Great work. Thank you so much for your participation today. We had a lot of awesome comments. I'm sorry I couldn't read everyone's feedback, but I recommend if you want to suggest a phrasal verb, an expression, an idea for another live lesson, write a comment, ask a question. Let me know what you would like to learn more about, and I'll try my best to create an interesting interactive lesson like this. And if you want to join me again, I recommend it. Come back if you enjoyed this lesson. Come back to the Speak English with Vanessa YouTube channel on Tuesday and Thursday. Today's Thursday, but there will be another lesson next week too. Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. EST, New York time, 9 a.m. I hope you can be here to learn and focus and expand your vocabulary and not hang on to old English methods. So if you're thinking, no, Vanessa, I don't want today's lesson to end, don't stop. I have a lot of suggestions. Watch other live lessons and other videos on my YouTube channel. There are a lot of options. You can spend plenty of time learning new things. You can join my email group. So I send free email lessons every week. They include expressions like today, some tips, some stories to help you understand different concepts and remember new idioms. If you want to get these free email lessons, you can download my free ebook, 5 Steps to Becoming a Confident English Speaker. You get a free ebook and free email lessons. Great deal. I hope that you enjoy it. There is a link in the description below this video so that you can download the free ebook. And at the end of the video, I'll put it here on the screen. It's my gift to help you take your English to the next level. And thank you everyone for your feedback, because really that is what motivates me, helps me to wake up in the morning and make and create live lessons for you. Thanks so much. I'm so glad that you joined me, and I'll see you the next time, next week. Have a beautiful week, a beautiful weekend. See you later. See you next week. Bye.